For the love of Dallas. Building empowered communities by highlighting those who donate their most precious resource, time. Welcome to the show, For the Love of Dallas. I'm your host, Lauren Davis, and today we have a very special guest, and a very cool guest in my mind. J-Kruz from K104, DD in the Morning, is with us to talk about his foundation, Kruz Kidz Got Kicks. So welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me. I'm excited to be here.
Oh, you bet. Well, this part of the show, we like to get into you as a person. And so we see each other around town a lot these days.
We have.
Doing different charity things. And people hear you on the radio in the morning, but they might not know that you have an enormous heart. So I want to know just how you became that way. How do you have such a servant heart?
I think I'd have to put the blame on just like coming up in a close family.
Mm-hmm.
My dad passed away at a young age, so it was like my mom, my sister, me, my brother, and it was just always us like together. And then we moved around a lot, so we've always been like this really tight core.
Mm-hmm.
So just always those kind of like family traditions or traits, just being like close and caring for one another. I think that kind of like poured over into my regular life. So I just, again, just the family, and I have like kids of my own now. I have my own family, so just family oriented, and just kind of like loyalty,
Mm-hmm.
and just caring for others. I guess I mean, sometimes people on the radio, I come across as like this egomaniac who thinks he's like attractive and all this stuff, and it's all about me. But that's also like a character. But overall, like the greatest part of my job and career, I love being around people. I love giving back to people if I can, and just being around people, making people happy and smile. It's just, I know that might sound corny, but it truly brings me joy.
Not around here, it doesn't sound corny. I love it. It's what we're all about. And I feel like in Dallas, you know, there's so many people doing so many great things. And, you know, it's hard to know about everything. And one of our goals of this show is to inspire others to get out there and do that. So I know this is a new foundation that you started recently. So you're always volunteering other places. I've seen you at this event, that event. We have some friends in common now.
Right.
What caused you to want to take your career and have this part of it? 'Cause you have a huge career. You're on CW, you're on K104, and now this.
Thank you. So like I've been in radio for like over 15 years. I've been with the CW33 TV network for like almost 9 years, and like you said, I've been part of tons of other people's charities, fundraisers. Excuse me. I go to like schools. I give my time, but I never actually threw my own event where like it was from me, like the source was coming from me. So last year I finally decided to like, cause I'm always nervous that they're not gonna go well. Like, you know what I mean?
Well, it's like you have a party and you're like, is anybody gonna come?
Exactly. Like it's the same
like
thing.
the
I'd rather,
biggest stress.
right. I'd rather host a party than throw one myself.
Yeah.
Just in case.
It's a pretty vulnerable
nobody
place
shows
to
up.
put yourself
Right.
out there and
'Cause a lot of
create.
times people think just cause you're like, oh, you got a name, it's easy. You could just throw one, and it doesn't guarantee a success all the time. But last year I kind of like just buckled down and said, let me do this. And I reached out to certain people, put my resources together, and I came up with Kruz Kidz Got Kicks. There's a organization here in Dallas called Pasos for Oak Cliff. They are a charity group that does tons of works with sneakers especially. So I told them I wanted to do this thing with sneakers, and they helped me out. And then Justin Martin from IJustGotHit.com, Gotti Martin, the law firm.
Oh, nice.
He made a $5,000 donation.
Wow.
And we went out and we bought the kicks, and we gave them to foster children and single parent mothers. And Pasos really helped me with that. Again, I had to find somebody who like knew how to do this.
Yeah.
Because it's not, you think to yourself, oh, let me go buy these sneakers and just give them out.
It's not that
you
easy.
You can't just go up to like a foster home. You know, there's certain process and like certain things that you need to do. So I linked up with a couple people to help me pull it off, and I pulled it off last year.
That's awesome. Yeah, we never do anything by ourselves. It's always, you know, with the help of others and with that network and support.
It was way easier that way because they already had the network. Pasos already had the network. Justin had, supplied the funds, and then I just kind of, came up with the logo and we picked a date and kind of collectively worked on these kind of things. But
You just put it into action. You had an
I did.
idea and you just did it.
I did. I executed it and we made it happen.
I love it. So what inspired you to get into radio and entertainment? And, you know, do you have someone that you looked up to as a kid? Like, how'd you get so cool for our audience?
Long story short, my younger brother started rapping.
Oh, very cool.
He's several years younger than me. And very competitive growing up. And he started rapping. So I said, oh, if you can rap, I can rap. So I started rapping. And then we started a rap career. We were a rap group called Mano y Mano in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania.
Okay, very cool.
My young adulthood I spent there. And I'm originally from New York City, but mostly grew up in Pittsburgh. So I was a rapper. I went to like a small business school, got my associate's degree. We performed at the school a couple times. It was time for my internship after I was done. And the placement internship teacher was like, hey, why don't you try a radio station because you rap?
Yeah.
My degree's like business associates in business administration or something like that. I don't even remember. So I took the internship. I ended up getting hired at the radio station. The whole time I worked there, even after I got hired, I was just like data entry, sitting at the computer kind of work. I was trying to push my music. So like I'm working my 9 to 5, sneaking upstairs, giving my songs to the DJs, you know, building the
Were they on CDs or on cassettes?
It was CDs.
Can I date you? Okay,
yeah, you could. It was CDs. So, you know, the whole time I'm working my regular 9 to 5, wearing khakis and button-ups, going to work every day, but the whole time I'm trying to push my music. Eventually, at radio stations, it's called a program director. Program directors are the bosses of the radio department of what goes on air, the jocks and that kind of thing. There was a program director there that kept coming. He would come downstairs to the offices and be like, you got too much personality to be working in one of these cubicles. You should be upstairs, like, on air or stuff.
Yeah.
And I used to, like, jokingly be like, just play my song or something like that, you know? Eventually, I started doing something that's called board op, where you just kind of, like, push buttons. I started doing that on Saturdays just to make some extra money. So I would work my regular 9 to 5, and then on the weekends, board op.
Yeah.
There was an emergency one Saturday where the jock couldn't make it. And they were like, you want to try it to talk? Actually talk on air. And I did. And the next day they offered me the Saturday night shift.
Oh, nice.
Off that one time of doing it. So now I'm working my regular 9 to 5 and now I'm officially a jock on the weekends. Eventually a new program director came in and the first thing he did was offer me the full-time night show position.
Wow. What an opportunity.
Right. So I took that, quit the regular 9 to 5. Now I'm the new full-time night show jock at a station called WAMO. In Pittsburgh, legendary station, been there for a long time. Did that for about 5 years. In total, I was there almost 10 because I did the office work for like 4 years, almost 4.5.
That's a journey.
Yeah.
I love that about people's stories and testimonies is there's a moment in time where you're presented with an opportunity. I believe God puts things in our life, and then it's for us to take or not. And I think that's just always very inspiring to hear within people's career, that moment where it's not even just a break. It's you've gotten an opportunity and you could take it or you could leave it.
Today on the radio show, we were talking about, what are they called? Boards? What do they call them? Not a message board, but like a vision board.
Vision board. Oh, yes.
So we were talking about vision boards, and Dee Dee and Keita, two of my co-hosts, they were saying how they had vision boards and a 5-year plan.
Yeah.
And I said to them, I wasn't in my life, I didn't set goals.
Right.
But when opportunities showed themselves, I showed up. So like how you say that, like every opportunity I had. And even after WAMO, like after 5 years, they sold the station. And then I was looking for another opportunity, and the opportunity in Dallas came. So,
and that's how you got here.
And that's how I came here, and I've been here for like 12 years.
We're so lucky to have you in Dallas. Well, you're clearly a man who shows up, so I can't wait to hear more about how you've showed up for kids with your organization. So we're going to take a quick break, hear from our sponsor, and be right back with J-Kruz. Hey guys, I want to take a few seconds to tell you about one of my favorite products. It is Cliff Supply. This is a product that will make your man's beard smell amazing. We all know they love to have these beards these days, but they're a little prickly, can be a little annoying. So at least you could do is make it smell better when it's in your face. So go to the Gents Place to buy Cliff Supply. We have beard balms, oils, and wash bricks. Welcome back to the show For the Love of Dallas. I'm your host, Lauren Davis, and today we have an extra special co-host guest, Ann Stone. She's a fellow mom friend and happy warrior and just an all-around great person who gives to the community, and thought she'd be great to have on the show. Welcome.
Thank you. I'm so happy to be here. My son's gonna think I'm a little cooler tonight when he finds out who I met today. So
Yes.
I'm really excited about this interview.
You can get some points, huh?
Yes.
With your son? That's
Big
dope.
points.
I like
Major
that.
points. Yes. J-Kruz is here with us back. You know him from K104, Dee Dee's morning show. But what you also may not know is that what we were talking about earlier is that he's got Kruz's Kids Got Kicks.
I do.
He gives to the community all the time. We've seen each other at many events. And now I found out in the break that he's a basketball coach. What don't you do?
Get a lot of sleep.
Yeah. And you have a newborn baby.
And we
just
got
about.
a shout outs to baby Luna, who's a little bit over 6 months old. She's I have 3 boys, and she's kind of like a oopsie baby. Was not planned, but definitely a gift and loved very much.
Definitely
She's
loved.
daddy's little girl for sure. But yeah, so back to what I was saying. Kruz's Kids Got Kicks is something I started last year. We raised $5,000 thanks to Justin Martin, Gotsy law firm, Gotsy Martin. I just got hit.com. They donated $5,000. I linked up with Passos for Oak Cliff, which is a foundation here in Dallas. They do a lot of charity work with specifically with sneakers. And we bought, it's funny. You think of $5,000 is going to buy a lot of sneakers, but it only buys I want to say anywhere from 150 to 200 pairs of shoes.
Yeah.
Especially if you buy them shoes that they actually are gonna like. You
Right.
know what I mean? Because you could go
Yes.
buy some real generic sneakers
Yeah.
that, just to get them at a bargain price from go to Nike or a shoe store or something like that. But Passos goes out of their way to actually get kids sneakers that they're actually going to like. So they get them, let's say maybe half off. So the sneakers are still on average $50.
Wow.
So when you break it down, you think 5,000. Oh my God, I'm gonna buy.
You're gonna buy shoes for all of Dallas.
Right.
It doesn't go that far. And not to say that I wasn't appreciative. Again, it was a learning process for me because it was the first time that I put something together on my
Yeah.
own, with my brand attached to it. And we could use more money to get more shoes, is my point. 5,000 goes far, but not that far. You know
Yeah,
what I
so
mean?
tell us about shoes. Why shoes? I mean, you're clearly a super hip guy. You know that.
I'm into fashion.
Yeah, you've got some style, as people can see on camera. But
sure.
tell us about shoes, because I understand. I've got 2 teenage boys, and I know streetwear is big for
important.
kids, no matter what neighborhood
sure.
you're from. It is the prevailing
Yeah,
fashion statement. So why the shoes, and why nice shoes?
Appearance to me is very important. I consider myself a very stylish guy. Men are always asking me about hey, can you style me, or can
Yeah.
I have some my buddies who have asked me help them go shopping, hey, help me put an outfit together or stuff like that. So just appearance to me is very important. So when I thought, what can I do? Because when you do charity work or foundations, or if you start something, you should do something that's kind of you're passionate about, because it kind of
Agreed, yeah.
drives you a little bit better. And I just thought sneakers, Kruz's Kids Got Kicks. I just thought something with sneakers and kids would work really smart. Now that you say streetwear, with it, maybe for next year, the next time around, maybe I will do clothes and, add another line to it or something.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Kruz's Kids Got Clothes, or got drip, or whatever.
Fill in
You know
the
what I mean?
blank.
There you go. Got
I love
jeans,
it.
got sweatpants, whatever, sweatshirts, hoodies. Fly outfits. Oh wow, my brain's just running with ideas right now.
You're clearly a branding
So
kind of guy.
it was just the fashion, the sneakers, the clothes. It's a big part of me, so it just made sense to just go with the sneakers. And again, little baby steps, trying to learn little by little. And kicks was I'm just gonna stick with shoes, and we'll go with the shoes. And shoes, like you said, kids, it matters to them. They're sneakers and kicks that they like. Shoes that they like is important as well.
So you have the $5,000 donation, which is awesome. 150 to 200 pairs of shoes.
Yeah, we bought somewhere like that.
What's the process of getting the shoes out to the community?
That's a really good point, which was something I didn't know how to do, and Passos for Oak Cliff did. So this organization, again, big shout out to Jesse. I just did an event with him recently where they threw Passos Con, and they did this big event and raised even more money for more charity work that they're doing. he kind of handled all that for me. They reached out to the foster homes because we did like foster children and single parent moms, and they knew the places to call, the organizations. They set up like the meetups where we went, because you in your mind you want to just go and give this stuff.
Right.
Legally you can't just go on the premises sometimes, so you have to.
Well, you're dealing with children too, so
You're
it's very
dealing with
protected.
children, so it can get very
hard to access.
exactly. So there's proper procedures for everything. So
Yeah.
again, he helped me with all that, which I knew it was going to take too long for me to try to like learn the
That's
process
smart
and then pull it
business.
off.
Yeah.
I was like, let me just find somebody who already does this.
Yeah.
So literally, I just went online and kind of like Googled like foundation, sneaker giveaway, stuff like that.
Yeah.
And Passos came up and I contacted them and we linked up and we kind of pulled it off.
Pro tip: when you don't know, find someone who does.
Who does?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love
So-
that. Tell us about the kids. What was it like? Did you get to see their faces? What did they say?
We did.
Anything that stuck out? What was the one kid that
We did. It
stuck
was
out
funny
to
too,
you?
because it was this fine line of getting footage because I wanted to like showcase like the footage.
Yeah.
But it was also not making a spectacle of them either. You
Yes,
see what I'm
it
saying?
is
Like,
a-
they're going through stuff. I'm not. I don't want it
Yes.
to make it seem like, oh, look at the camera, smile. Like,
Look,
you know
I
what
brought
I'm
you
saying?
a pair of shoes.
So
I'm
what
gonna
I
put
did
on
was
Instagram.
we kind of shot the shoes, but not physically their faces.
Oh, I
Like
love
we
that.
shot their feet going in there.
Yeah.
We might have took like pictures and they could keep the pictures. We didn't necessarily publicize the pictures. Do you see what I'm saying?
I
So
do.
it was kind of discreetly done, tastefully done, where we got the footage of us like walking up to the building with the bags, but we didn't, I didn't go, hey, can we put you on tape? Like I didn't, I just
Right.
didn't want
Yeah.
that to be part of it. So it ended up like working out. So I got to see their faces. I got to see them smile. I talked to the children, but we kept a lot of that private because I wasn't there to exploit them. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Which is that fine line sometimes.
Because you need to promote and show what you're doing
Exactly.
in order to get more,
Exactly.
to help more. But yeah.
But without making it,
Protecting their
for sure, absolutely, you have to,
personal lives, yes.
absolutely, you have to, and like even some of the places will tell you like you can't,
well,
you
especially
cannot.
foster. 'cause there
Absolutely,
could be
they'll
Right.
tell you like
situations.
once you come in, you can't shoot anything.
Yeah.
So for a lot of it's just very strategic, the
Yes.
shots, the shooting of the footage. But yes, the kids were grateful, they were happy, they were excited. The main event where they showed up to pick them up, that's when we could shoot more because they were coming to us because we had
Yeah.
it was like a 2-part event. The first part we went to the foster homes and we gave them the shoes. And then the second part was we were at a church and from like I think it was like from 11 to 2 we were there and we had a list of families that came to get the shoes. So we already had the preset sizes, what shoes they, not necessarily the shoe they wanted, but sizes, how many kids, so on and so forth. So they were coming. Now, those people understood that, we had cameras and we took pictures and that was kind of like more
Part
laid
of
back
the thing.
environment. So we had more visuals there. So that was really cool too, because we got to actually like talk to more of the kids. We took pictures. We had like the backdrop and everything. And
That's
that
so
part was cool.
fun.
And then I gave out Kruz's Kids Got Kicks t-shirts with the sneakers, the whole nine.
So were they able to come in and actually choose their shoe?
We see what happened was, so we would give them a shoe, and then if the only issue we had sometimes like the size wouldn't fit correctly or something
Right.
like that, where we worked it out. Passos would work it out where they could like return it and they would go get another size or something like that. But they
Nice.
didn't specifically get to pick a shoe. It just that it gets a little too
Right.
Too,
Yeah, well,
Get
too.
complicated?
yes,
Shoes
like
are
if
kind
you-
of a personal thing.
yeah.
Yeah.
So, but again, they picked these cool shoes where the kids normally didn't complain about the shoes.
No,
They're
no
like, oh my
one-
God, these
yeah.
are so cool. You know what I mean?
Could
the
they
only-
believe it? Were they like, really, these shoes are
Yeah,
for
no,
us?
that's what I'm saying. Sometimes it was like,
I'm
like
sure they were like,
would open the
"What?"
box and I was like, oh, I want those. Like,
Yeah.
for real. Like it was like, oh wow.
Well, because a lot of times in charity, it's different. It's more for quantity versus quality,
Bingo.
which has its place.
Absolutely.
Sometimes, if there's a natural disaster, you need that. But when you're going in trying to light a light in these kids to say someone cares who you
Yeah.
don't even know, and showing that through quality, I think is a really is just a really cool and unique way to give back. And yes, you might buy fewer, but sometimes the gift of that quality is
goes a longer way. Because seriously,
does.
you put one of these kids in some generic shoes and then they got to go to school with these shoes
Yes.
on. They're not gonna wear.
I mean, as
them.
much as we might not like it, we all know from being a kid,
It just is
it
what it
matters
is.
whether we like it or not. It is
It
the
does.
most important thing in their life, or usually their relationships and what they have on their bodies, their clothes, or
Right.
what phones. We were talking about phones. I mean,
Totally get it.
iPhone, Android. I mean, you get picked apart in school.
For sure. And
Yeah.
that's the thing. And I remember thinking that like, oh, because in the beginning process of me coming up with this, I thought, oh, how do you do it? Do you gift cards? Do you let them pick their shoe? How difficult is it? Or do you go buy the shoe for them? What kind of shoe do you buy? I was thinking, do you buy one generic shoe and just give every kid the same shoe? And again, Paso's, Jesse kind of told me like, well, that's difficult to pull off that way. So we kind of do it like this. And we try to get them shoes that they actually will like. Because it's true, like these kids don't want to wear like some shoe that they're going to get mocked for in school, which is just the reality of it.
I know. So. It's the reality. We both have kids, and we know it. I have teenagers, and your kids are a little younger, but even in like second grade girls, it can happen.
See it happening.
You know,
Yes.
It doesn't matter what age, you know,
I'm
kids
really
tell the truth.
thankful too for the shoe companies that are willing to participate.
The stores, there's several stores that were involved. Again, you could go. I learned that you can go directly to Nike. You could contact them. You can go to the shoe stores. You can go to Foot Action. There's several avenues that you can take to try to get sponsors and get shoes to be donated or at a discount. Because I think with Pasos, they do usually they get the discount. They give them a nice discount on the shoes, and then they just buy a bunch of cool shoes that are left over per se. But yeah, again, it's everything. It's a learning process. You learn what not to do, what to do. So the next time around, you kind of try to
But most
avoid
important
mistakes.
is that you took action. A lot of people have those questions, hold them up from taking action, and you just affected, 200 kids' lives in a way that I remember when I was young, and I came from a rather humble beginning, very poor family in the country, and I was part of a select soccer team. They scrounged up the money to let me go play soccer in town, right? I was in the country and it went into San Antonio. And we couldn't afford to buy the team bag. And a mom bought me the team bag. It was a Diadora bag. And I was like, oh, it was really expensive at the time. This is some time ago.
I believe it.
And so I could be part of it. So I understand that feeling of needing that nice thing. I could have had just a plain black bag from Walmart and it would have gotten the job done, but I wanted to feel part of the team and have my number on there, and someone did that for me. So that's what you're doing for these kids, and I'm a grown woman now, and I remember that day.
The feeling,
I get it. Of being taken care of someone giving me something of value. So it's just such a huge deal in these kids' lives, especially in the situation, single parent home. So resources are limited.
For sure.
And then foster kids. So what inspired you to pick that group of kids?
It was kind of more of a conversation between me and, again, Pasos. I got to give them a lot of credit, again, because they're like
huge mentors.
Yes, because they've done this, they're experienced, and they were like, hey, let's do this. So, and also Justin from Godsey Martin also wanted to focus on foster kids as well. So the idea was planted in my mind. Let's go foster kids and then single parent moms. My dad died at a very young age. My mom raised us. I remember her working 2-3 jobs. I know that life.
Yeah.
So I definitely wanted to give back that way to single moms as well. So it just kind of just all fell together. It wasn't that part wasn't so difficult. Like people need things.
Yeah.
There's tons of groups of people that need. So you could always think of an angle of who needs something and then just go give it to them. So it was kind of like that.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
Well, we love hearing about it. So tell us, what does your organization need?
So this time around, I'm just, again, like I was telling you, the $5,000 it went so far. I need more donations, more donations. So anybody out there,
Money buys the shoes, about $50 a shoe on a good partnership.
On average, it was about $50. So like, this time around, obviously, I'm gonna go to Justin again this time and see if he can again. If he cannot, then we'll just use other resources. But if you want to be a part of Kruz's Kids Got Kicks, you want to donate. I had the T-shirts printed up with the logo, and then all the sponsors or whoever goes on the back, so you get that kind of recognition as well. And then we give out the T-shirt with every pair of shoes. We give out a T-shirt.
Nice.
So we kind of do that. But
do they make donations online?
Or I would like them to contact me through Instagram.
Okay.
JKruzonair DM. I could also give out my email, and we'll build that relationship, and then they could. Now again, if I went through Pasos because they're a nonprofit, right? So when you send the money to them, it goes through the correct process. Again, there's a lot of paperwork. Like you can't just take people's money and then like there has to be like this trail of paperwork. So that's why they were a nonprofit. So it worked really well when Justin sent them the money. even for his
Oh, that's
business,
great.
because it's
Yeah.
a nonprofit, you know, with taxes and all that. It was
Yes,
all
he helped you. Oh,
legal
got
and
it.
clean. Yes, so like there was no
Well,
all
no,
the legalities.
starting a
were taken-
nonprofit is not easy. It's.
I looked into it.
I mean, I commend you for
literally
just getting started.
You're better
This is-
off sometimes just linking up with one that's already established than try to start one yourself, because it takes a long time.
Yes.
It can
yeah.
take a lot of time. And I just didn't want to wait for all that, so I was let me just hook up with one that's already existing. And I might take that route again. Now, in the near future, I might start my own.
Yeah.
But as of right now, I'm not necessarily that hung up on being the, you know, it's
yeah.
more about just getting it done. So if I link up with people to get it done, it's easier that way sometimes.
So for our audience, they should reach out to you on Instagram?
Yeah,
Okay.
JKruz on air. That's the letter J, K-R-U-Z, on air. So JKruz on air.
Yes, and
And
they
my
should just
email is-
subscribe because you're pretty
For sure.
cool and it's fun to watch.
My
I
page
watch.
Is,
I
my page
follow.
is dope. My page is dope.
Yes.
JKruz on air @gmail is the email if you'd like to contact me through email. But that's it. Just DM me or email and let's get it going.
Yes.
I am in this beginning process of starting to stage some other stuff. So I'm starting to think of how we're going to do it this year. Maybe do, like I said, you learn from
Yes.
previous mistakes from the first time and do some things differently this time around. But
I love it. Well, thanks so much for being here. You're clearly a man of action.
Absolutely.
You're a big name in Dallas. We're grateful to have you on the show. I'm grateful to have my new co-host, Ann, here. We both upped our game with our boys at home having you here. So thanks for
shout
that.
outs to your sons at the crib. Oh, and big shout outs to my 9-year-old basketball team, the Kruzers. I started it about a year and a half ago. We're in the PSA league,
yes.
Oh,
Plano
nice.
Sports Authority. I guess the
association, the
association.
group, yeah.
Yep. So we started them, like I said, about several seasons ago. We were pretty bad, but we've gotten pretty good. We won the championship last season. Dak Prescott's foundation and Didi in the Morning sponsored our uniforms this season. So we got
That's
these brand new
awesome.
uniforms with the logos on the side. And right now we are 2-1, and we're on the move. We're doing good. Shouts to the Kruzers. If you got a 9-year-old who wants to join, let me know as well.
Yeah, no
Plays
kidding.
basketball.
I love it. I love
I'm
it.
recruiting.
Well,
right
you're
now.
just giving back so much in the your time coaching. I mean, coaches are some of the most formidable, foundational people in kids' lives.
We got
And-
practice today.
Yeah, and there you are, and you're going to teach them way more than basketball. I'm
Absolutely.
certain of it. And I bet you all the stylish team out there.
Yeah, our uniforms are good looking.
Yeah, I
put
bet they
I put
are.
together a
That's a
nice-
highly competitive league.
It is.
To be you're 2-1, you said?
Yeah. So we started off so because we've gotten better, like they moved us up in the ranks, like in a little bit of a tougher league. But when we started off, we were really bad. But I've kept the same group of kids together, and we've grown, and now we're like actually like respected.
Nice.
That's
I love
Ooh,
it.
the Kruzers.
Who are the
They're
Kruzers?
pretty tough. Yeah.
Look at that coach. So
And to be
cool.
honest, I didn't know much about coaching basketball, but I've learned. And then my 17-year-old son is a basketball fanatic. He plays for Plano East, and he's really good. So he helps
Nice.
out. I have a assistant coach. His name is Dom, Coach Dom. He helps out a lot too. So I'm good at inspiring them,
Yeah.
but I'm not necessarily the best at understanding the game of basketball. So thank God for him sometimes, because he helps me out and calls
Yes.
the right plays and stuff.
Oh, I love it. I love it.
out.
Well, maybe we'll have to come watch a game. Well,
sure.
I hate to have this be our end. You're so much fun to talk to,
Appreciate it.
but we're really grateful for you being on. Grateful to you, Ann, and give them some money. You've
Yeah.
got a little. Buy a pair of
Donate.
tennis shoes. Donate.
Be part of it.
Shoes are one of my favorite fashion items. My
No
kids.
way.
I love
Women in
shoes.
shoes.
Women in shoes. What?
Can make an outfit.
And when I was pregnant, they never left me behind like my clothes did
Ah.
of the years. So
That's funny.
they're loyal. Shoes are loyal. They're pretty. They make an outfit. So because I love shoes so much and I love what you're doing, I'm gonna personally donate $500 to get you
Stop
started.
playing.
Yes, because I'll just maybe not buy shoes this month, and I'm gonna buy these kids shoes.
Well, thank you.
It's one of my guilty pleasures, and so I love to support. And so I just want to ask our audience to please, if you have the money to match that donation, let's match it. Let's have him double his efforts this year. These kids matter, and we're for the love of Dallas, so we know how to do this. So
Nice.
thank you for being on. Thank you, and we'll see you next time.